All right, so if we look at the second reaction, gold, it goes from +3 to 0. So if we look at this, we're going from a positive towards a negative. So in this case, if we're becoming more negative, we should also be gaining electrons. So I got confused with this one because it is written wrong. This +3 should be on the other side of the reaction. So we should have our electrons on the other side. We're gaining electrons to become more negative. So this should be over there. And that's why I got confused. So this is why it's so important to just look at the element. We don't really need to look at where the electrons are written. Because in me doing that, I was confused by that question because it's written wrong. So if that is gaining electrons, that is reduction. Okay. The third one, we just did this oxygen from one side to the other, although this isn't oxygen as a ion, so we didn't do that one. So this one is oxygen, gives you oxygen. Okay. So from one side of the reaction to the other, we've got it 0 here, going over to here, and -2. So when it's becoming, going from 0 to -2, that is also becoming more negative. So electrons are negative, so we're gaining again. Are these all gaining? So if we go back up here, this is also a reduction reaction. Let's look at number 4. So number 4, we've got sodium is +1 on this side, and sodium is +1 on this side. So because they didn't change, they are spectators. They're spectator ions. And then the last one, SN, goes from being 0 to +4. So this becomes more positive. When something is more positive, it is losing electrons because electrons are negative. So if we look at our oil rig, losing is O. So this is an oxidation. Okay. So that's how we do these types of reactions. Here's a practice as well. Again, we can do some of these. So it says, identify the substance being oxidized and the substance being reduced. In each redox reaction below, identify any spectators. So this is more just identifying, and that's all you're really doing in these types of reactions. So we got Zn plus 2HCl gives us ZnCl2 and H2. Okay, so the first thing I would do in any of these types of reactions is probably identify. You could do it like this or circle it in some way. We got chlorides. And we've got hydrogens. Okay, so now we've identified the things that are together. So from here to here, we've got Zn. So let's look at, well, here, let's connect all the ones that are together. All right, let's look at Zn. So from on the left-hand side, Zn's by itself. It's a solid. I should have wrote it that way. When anything is a solid, that means that it has a charge of 0. Okay? On this side, it is in element, or sorry, it's in a compound. It's in the ion form because it's attached to chloride. Chloride, if we remember back, chloride is a -1 charge. And if we look in our periodic table, we can find out that Zn, or zinc, is a +2 charge. But to be honest, it doesn't really matter if you know exactly what the charge of Zn is. As long as you know that it's a positive charge, then it's going to work out, okay? So we know that chloride is a negative charge on the right-hand side when it's connected to zinc. And when it's connected to hydrogen, we also know that if it's connected to something else, it must be in the ion form. So we've figured out which one our spectator is. And then the last one, hydrogen. Hydrogen, when it's by itself on the right-hand side, is going to be 0. And on the left, it's in its ion form, and hydrogen has a +1 charge. Okay? So let's recap what's going on here. So we've got Zn to Zn +2. We've got hydrogen +1 goes to hydrogen. And we've got Cl -1 goes to Cl -1. All right, so it's asking us, we just have to identify which one's which. So Zn goes from 0 to +2. So when you go from 0 to +2, I'm going to write my oil rig here. +2, remember, electrons are negative. So if it's becoming more positive, it normally would lose electrons, okay? So you're becoming more positive from 0 to +2. So we're losing electrons. So when you lose electrons, that's oxidation. Okay. This one, hydrogen, it's going from a +1 to a 0. So that is actually becoming more negative. So to become more negative, you need to gain electrons. So when you gain electrons, that's reduction. And then the last one is chloride. It goes from -1 to -1. So that doesn't change. So that's just a spectator ion. Okay. So that is how you do these. It's exactly how you do all of the other ones as well. I'm not going to do those practice because I think you guys are good on that. So I'm going to stop there, and the next little section we will do tomorrow. Okay.